All right, looks like we are ready to go. Welcome, everyone. Happy afternoon to you. My name is Brian Knights. I am a principal program manager in our team's customer engineering team. And this afternoon, we're going to talk about meetings first. Specifically, we're going to talk about how we can utilize Microsoft Teams meetings for our on-premises Skype for Business customers. Now, a couple of things that we want to cover as part of the session. First and foremost, the term meetings first that we hear is not something you're going to see in the UI of the various admin tools or things of that nature, right? The idea of meetings first is it's a concept of how we can approach our upgrade from Skype for Business to Teams. So the purpose of what we want to cover in our session today is to, first off, explain what meetings first is, but of course, learn if the meetings first solution is a proper solution for your journey from Skype for Business to Teams. I will take you through an understanding of what the experience looks like from the client's perspective, as well as we'll talk about what the requirements are from an infrastructure perspective and from an IT admin perspective. So ideally, when you're done with this session, you should have a really good handle on what this feature is, what the requirements are for this feature, when you should really think about using this feature, and then how to actually go and implement it. So let's go down memory lane here for a little bit and talk about, kind of how we ended up in the world of meetings first. A lot of folks that are in the room here, I'm sure, have utilized Skype for Business. In the on-premises world, we had a lot of folks that would leverage all of the various features of Skype for Business, the chat features, the meetings features, the voice features, what we called enterprise voice. And for a number of customers, it worked fairly well. For a number of customers, they had some challenges with the on-premises environment, especially when it came to meetings, meeting joins, and so forth. I've been doing the UC stack inside of Microsoft for it'll just say many years. I'm not going to date myself too much. For many years. And when we got into the on-premises world with Skype for Business, a lot of the challenges that we saw were with the meeting join experience itself, right? People would host meetings. They would have challenges joining meetings. External people would have challenges joining meetings. We'd have all kinds of weirdness happening in the Skype for Business world. Also, because it was an on-premises product, it was difficult to provide new features, new innovations at a rapid pace. Right, because the methodology that we use in on-premises was, well, hey, we had to release these things in cumulative updates. And then you had to get the cumulative update. And then you had to patch your servers for cumulative. And we all know how much fun that was, right? If you don't, go back in the Wayback Machine and go to my old HADR sessions. Yeah, we'll have a lot of fun talking about that. So we saw an opportunity for customers to take advantage of a new meeting solution that we have inside of Teams. And I have a slide coming up in a little bit on that, a little what we call a marketecture slide on meetings. That'll give you kind of the rundown of that. But what we quickly realized, especially in the on-premises world, was organizations that were leveraging Skype for Business Server on-premises for meetings were likely also leveraging Skype on-premises for enterprise voice. And moving enterprise voice is not as easy as it sounds, right? There's a lot of moving parts involved in the voice stack in Skype for Business Server, and then being able to move that and transition it into Teams. So we wanted to be able to come up with a way, an opportunity in which customers could start experiencing the benefits of the architecture that we have in Teams for meetings, along with all of the innovations that we have in Teams for meetings, while we're still planning out how to move our voice components over from the Skype for Business Server platform. So we know for many on-premises customers, the environments can be quite complex, right? And not just complex from a technical perspective, right? You can see on my slide here some of the challenges that we are faced with organizations that have Skype for Business Server on-premises. By the way, I'm going to mention Skype for Business Server here. I did have someone come up and ask me earlier, hey, are you going to talk about Link? Yeah, what I'm going to talk about here does technically apply to Link Server 2013. If you're on anything prior to that, yeah, we don't support that with Teams. So you can come talk to me about that afterwards if you want to get more detail on that. But most of what I'm going to talk about here will apply to Link Server 2013 as well as Skype for Business Server. So it's not like an evil thing. You can't like not say it. It's okay. So we have investment protections that we have to look at here. A lot of these deployments took a while, right? It was not easy to just deploy a Skype for Business Server topology. We purchased hardware, right? That hardware has to amortize over a certain number of years. So organizations that maybe just recently finished their deployment of Skype for Business Server can't simply just turn them off and go to Teams because they have a hardware investment that they have to account for. They may have contractual components they have to deal with, right? It could be contact center things. It could be voice, related things, telco contracts that they're in, that they just can't easily up and move out of them off of their on-premises world. Project management or resourcing, right? A lot of these projects took time. They took resources, they took energy to do, and we can't very easily spin that up again necessarily in an organization to simply turn on a dime and go straight to Teams. There's also that readiness aspect, right? There's a readiness aspect that comes along with the product itself, right? Is the product ready to handle all of the workloads that we had in the Skype for Business on-premises world? That's kind of a shifting discussion, right? If you asked me that question a year ago, I would have a different answer than I have today, and I'd probably have a different answer than I have in 6 months. I think the Teams platform today is very capable of being able to handle most of the workloads that we have from Skype for Business Server, and many of the components that we have as the remaining gaps are being filled within the next 3 to 6 months. Things like contact center and so forth. So that's what that last bullet talks about, is there are some third-party integrations that you might be using today that you can't quite translate into the Teams world yet. Right, so these are some of the common challenges that we see for customers that are trying to upgrade from on-premises Skype for Business Server to Teams. But we realized that one of the biggest pain points that we had in the Skype for Business Server world was around meetings. Right? Our meeting join process, our meeting quality process, and so forth was difficult in the on-premises world. Enter Teams. Right? Teams brings that new meeting life cycle to life, if you will, giving us that true capability of being able to do a pre-meeting, during meeting, post-meeting type experience, being able to have context wrapped around the meetings that we're working on. Right? We've re-architected the environment using what we call our NGC backend, our next generation core, or IC3 backend that we use for Teams. Right? It is optimized for cloud. It's built at hyperscale for cloud. It runs in Azure. Right? We didn't just take the Skype for Business Server code base and slap a purple logo on it and stick it up in the cloud and call it Teams. We rebuilt and reimagined the architecture, taking the lessons that we learned from Skype Online, taking the lessons that we learned from Skype Consumer, and building a new architecture specifically for Teams. That leads us to having these high-quality experiences inside of Teams. We can then leverage the power of the cloud to be able to do things like real-time co-authoring, right, inside of our meetings experience. One-touch meeting joins from our various devices, whether they're mobile devices, desktop devices, room systems, right? We have the ability, again, by building on top of the AI that we have in the cloud, of doing items like live captions, transcripts, eventually things like translation, right? The background blur feature with custom backgrounds. I mean, these are all innovations that are easily available inside of the Teams infrastructure. And we've noticed an opportunity for on-premises organizations to say, look, we know it's going to take a little bit more time to move the on-premises organization completely into Teams. How about we get one of the best workloads that we have in Teams front and center? Let's get meetings out there. Simplifying the meeting join process, improving the performance through that hyperscale architecture that we built, and being able to have all the innovations that we need on top of it. That effectively is what created this need for what we call meetings first. And of course, since this is built on top of Office 365, you have all of your familiar security and management controls available to you inside of O365 and inside of your Teams meetings. So that brings us to this wonderful discussion, and you may have seen a slide similar to this. If any of you have come to my upgrade workshops that we're doing over in Rosen Plaza, you will have heard our discussion around this. My cohort, Laszlo, and I have a session on this tomorrow morning. But it kind of boils down to, great, I'm on Skype today, on-prem, online, whatever. How do I get to Teams? And really, it's quite straightforward. There's only two choices for how you get to Teams. Choice one is you follow the first path that we call overlapping capabilities. Many of you know that already. It's called islands mode, right? The second path that you follow is the one that we're going to focus on in this session today. And that is the ability for us to do selected capabilities using our Skype for Business modes. So rather than giving the user the Teams application and giving them chat and calling and collaboration and meetings and all these things that overlap with Skype, we're going to be more methodical about that. We're going to give them Teams, and we'll give them the opportunity to use the collaboration features in Teams. We'll give them the opportunity to schedule new meetings in Teams. But we'll keep chat and calling together in the Skype for Business world while we're planning that enterprise voice move, right? So visually, it kind of looks like this. You know, your starting point is Skype for Business. We have chat, calling, and meetings running in the Skype for Business world. One of the first options on this path is to introduce just the collaboration features of Teams, right? What we call the collab-only mode. That's not meetings first, okay? That's just an opportunity for us to introduce the net new collaboration features from within Teams right alongside what they're doing in Skype for Business. So for the end user, nothing changes. Skype still does exactly what Skype was doing the day before, but now they have a new application that they can start to acclimate to that provides them some net new features. Where we're going to start our journey is here. In this stage, it gives us the capability of saying, well, yes, you have these brand new collaboration features in Teams, but let's take the meetings workload and move that into Teams as well. So net new meetings that get scheduled by end users are now Teams meetings, not Skype on-premises meetings. Chat and calling still remain in Skype. We'll talk about why that is in a few slides. But now we have the capability of allowing this organization to begin to leverage the transformative nature of meetings in Teams while we're still figuring out the rest of our journey to get us here, right? The idea of meetings first is not meant to be something that you live with forever. It's meant to be a stepping stone to take you from your existing Skype for Business server deployment today, gradually introduce features of Teams while you're working through the rest of the complexity with voice, and then bring the rest of the workloads through into Teams. So that's what Meetings First is all about. It is an integrated, complete, simplified IT Pro journey for folks to be able to uplift that meetings workload from Skype for Business server into Microsoft Teams. Now, there's a few prerequisites we have to be aware of when we look at configuring Meetings First. First and foremost, we need to properly synchronize our on-premises Active Directory with Azure AD, right, using a tool set like AAD Connect, for example. This includes synchronizing all of the required parameters. What I mean by that is you need to sync the MSRTC SIP attributes, right, the attributes that actually identify the Skype components of a user. You have to make sure those are synchronized into Azure AD, right? The reasoning for that is we want to make sure that the service, your tenant, that Office 365 has the exact same worldview that your on-premises servers do. So the on-prem servers need to know, hey, I've got 5,000 users here that are enabled for Skype for Business server. The service needs to know that too. So when you sync those user objects into Azure AD, we need to bring the attributes with them, so that the service knows, oh yeah, that user is enabled for Skype for Business server on premises. It's the MSRTC SIP deployment locator attribute, for those of you that were digging for it, right? That's the attribute that we use. Sync them all, don't just sync that one. Sync them all, but that's the one that we use to get that proper worldview. If we don't do that, Office 365 might become confused. And when you go to light a user up for Teams, they might think, oh yeah, they don't use Skype at all in this org. That could have a pretty profound experience impact, like messages not routing where you would expect them to, because you didn't synchronize the attributes. You don't have the same worldview from the service as well as from on-prem. Identity and auth has to be configured in Teams, right? And that's just normal O365 stuff, right? You can do multi-factor authentication, you can do modern auth, you can do all those fun things, but identity and authentication has to be set up right in Teams. We do need to configure hybrid, what we call split domain in the Skype for Business server world. Technically speaking, it's not 100% required, but if you don't configure it, it's going to be a weird experience, especially as you start moving down the journey of trying to actually upgrade people. So we really need to have Skype for Business hybrid set up in this environment. Other than that, the rest of the deployment is just like doing greenfield Teams, right? Follow the basic guidance that we give for Teams. Make sure that you have all the components ready in the service for Teams. Make sure that you've whitelisted the right networking components that we need. Follow our networking guidance for the optimized categories and so on and so forth, right? Link Server 2013, Server 2015, Server 2019 are all part and parcel to this particular approach. No problem. Again, if you've got something prior to that, we don't support that with Teams. So you need to get yourself to one of these versions to be able to do something like what we're talking about here with Meetings First. Now, of course, there is a licensing and a provisioning component to be aware of here. In order for users to be able to use Teams with Meetings First, of course, they have to have a Teams license. All right? That part's usually pretty easy because the Teams license comes with just about anything that we have inside of Office 365. You do need to be aware of the need for an audio conferencing license, however, because remember, in your Skype for Business server deployment, audio conferencing is provided by your on-premises dial-in numbers, right? When the user is utilizing Teams meetings, the dial-in information is provided by the service, not by your on-premises infrastructure. So you do have to make sure that the users are properly licensed for audio conferencing if you want them to be able to do dial-in and dial-out from their Teams meetings. The really cool thing about all of this is it is one policy that you set that makes the magic happen. It's the simple coexistence mode that we use that will enable this feature set for your users. So as long as you have this prerequisites met, make one change to the coexistence mode, and we're off and running. I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. From an ongoing management perspective, when we look at things like usage and quality reporting, the audio conferencing management, the meetings policies, all of that stuff, it's just your normal Teams administrative views, right? You can use the advanced quality, call quality stuff, CQDV3, to go in and dig through your conferences. It's just normal Teams meetings at that point. Your audio conferencing management is all done from within the Teams admin center, and you can see in my screenshot here, this is actually showing an individual user that I have in my lab, and you can see at the bottom left corner of that particular screenshot, that simple coexistence mode that's assigned to that user is what enables Meetings First. Now, like I mentioned earlier, you're not going to see the words Meetings First anywhere inside of the admin UI, right? Inside of the admin UI, we use a much, much, much longer name for that called Skype for Business with Teams, Collaboration, and Meetings. Okay, so that is the coexistence mode that controls the experience that we call Meetings First. Right? So if you're talking to a customer or you're a customer yourself and you're like, yeah, I'm really interested in this Meetings First thing. How do I configure it? I don't see Meetings First anywhere. You won't. You're going to see it as Skype for Business with Teams Collaboration and Meetings, because essentially that is the feature set that you're lighting up, Teams Collaboration and Teams Meetings. So what does it start to look like from a client perspective? Right? Because it's fun to talk about the what we call the art of the possible. What could we envision? What does it look like? But what does this really look like to an end user? Well, first and foremost, we need to realize that when we use this approach of Meetings First, we are providing the meetings experience through Teams. That means you have to make sure that your environment is ready to provide the experience for Teams. That includes things like your meeting rooms, right? So again, I know a number of organizations that are on-premises Skype for Business today, and they're like, yeah, we really want to try these meetings out. Let's go. And whether that let's go means let's go islands or let's go meetings first, before they can pick either one of those, they got to figure out, do I have meeting rooms? Yeah. Can those meeting rooms join Teams meetings? Well, if they're, Skype Room System V2, as we used to call it, or Microsoft Teams rooms, then sure, you're good to go, right? Those devices are designed to be what we call dual-headed devices. They can join Skype meetings. They can also join Teams meetings, right? But what if I have something that doesn't join a Teams meeting, right? Maybe I have a device that, like a Polycom Trio, that works really well as an audio device, but we plugged in this Visual Plus, video thing into it. Yeah, that doesn't work with Teams. So make sure that you understand the inventory of your rooms, your meeting rooms, so that you know how to approach getting your infrastructure ready. Because the last thing you want to have happen is light up a user for this awesome meetings experience. They schedule a meeting, they invite the conference room down the hall, and it doesn't work. Right? They're just going to look at you and go, wow, this thing just doesn't work. We should just go get something else. So do your due diligence, figure out which meeting rooms, which devices, which services you have, to determine whether either A, maybe you just need to do a simple upgrade on the device, right? Maybe it's just running an older version of the Skype Room System, update it to the new version, and life is good. Maybe it's a device that requires you to purchase a CVI service, Cloud Video Interrupt service, from one of our vendors, like Poly or Pexip or BlueJeans or the recently announced Cisco, right? Perhaps that will be a path that you need to take. But this is something that you need to make sure that you sift through and understand before you go lighting up your user population to go and schedule meetings. I remember back in the day when Microsoft was going through this transition, we didn't have the luxury of this particular coexistence mode, because we were doing this like a year and a half ago. We fought it with islands. And we kind of sneaker netted our way around. We put little signs on the conference rooms that basically said, this is a Skype-only room, right? So if you sat down in the conference room, you knew not to make this a Teams meeting. I don't advise people go do that, right? That was what we needed to do to get through. But you don't want to forget about those meeting rooms. Because again, we don't want that experience to be degraded right out of the gate for an end user simply because they can't invite the room down the hall. In the meetings first configuration, you will continue to use Skype for Business Server for chat, presence, and calls. Calls includes enterprise voice calls, PSTN calls, as well as peer-to-peer calls. So if you take a look at the screenshot that I have on the right side here, if you look at the Skype for Business client in the foreground there, it kind of doesn't look any different than it did before. And that's true, right? There's really not a change from the end user's experience inside of the Skype for Business client. What they do notice as a minor change when they get into meetings first is they don't have an Outlook add-in anymore for Skype. That was how we created Skype for Business meetings, right? We would go into Outlook and use the Skype add-in. That goes away. But the rest of the Skype for Business client still looks the same, right? I've got my buddy list, I see my contacts, I see my presence, and life is good. Take a look in the background at the Teams client, though. If you look on the left rail of the Teams client, you may notice a few interesting things. First, you'll notice that you don't see the chat app, nor do you see the calls app. That's by design, because chats and calling stay in Skype for Business. So as a result of configuring the user for meetings first, those apps are not present. You also might notice, it's tough to see here, but I'll show you this in the demo in a little bit. If I look in the top right corner where the profile picture is for the user in Teams, the little avatar with Christy's face up there, you notice there's no presence there at all. If I click the flyout for her, there's no presence there either, because there's no presence from the Teams perspective. It's all managed by Skype for Business. Eagle-eyed viewers that are probably sitting in the front row might also notice a couple other things in my left rail. I have the OneNote app and the Stream app pinned to the left rail. I was actually able to accomplish that by using what we call an app setup policy. And I'll talk about that in just a second. But effectively, when I work with this mode, the feature sets that are not used in Teams are removed from Teams. So no chat, no calling. They can still do channel-based chat, right? The Teams app, that's still there, right? Oh, anybody notice that my Teams app isn't there? What happened to that? Part of my app setup policy, I was actually able to move the Teams app into the overflow menu, into the little ... menu that's at the bottom there. It's an option for you if perhaps your users maybe aren't ready for that big of a change. The only change that we want to do first is maybe give them meetings, and then we'll give them collab later, and then we'll give them chat and calling later, right? We can kind of stage this process along. So lots of flexibility that the IT Pro has to be able to configure this the way that we want. This last set of bullets is critically important for me, and that is this concept of harmonious coexistence. Basically what that means is allowing the Skype client and the Teams client to behave well together. Now, you might be wondering, why wouldn't they behave well together? I mean, they're both Microsoft products, right? I'll give you an example. For those of you out in the audience, and it's hard for me to see, so I'm not going to ask anybody to raise hands because I probably wouldn't be able to see if anybody was or not. If you've ever dealt with having the Teams and Skype client side by side together in, say, the Islands mode, what happens when you press the mute button on your headset, right? Does it work consistently? Not really, right? Harmonious coexistence with Skype for Business, right? That's one of the things we do in Meetings First to ensure that we call those HID controls, or human interface device controls. That's the mute button on your headset, answer, hang up, and so forth. We built the solution to ensure that those scenarios would work correctly in both clients when they're both running at the same time. That's the idea of this harmonious coexistence. Not only that, but being able to do intelligent things with presence, right? I'm in a Teams meeting. My presence, well, there is no presence in Teams, but I have presence in Skype. Well, my Skype presence should be updated to reflect that. Yeah, we'll do that too, right? And I'll show you a demo of that coming up here in a little bit. Another piece that we can take care of in this Meetings First approach is migrating the user's meetings. Assuming that the user's mailbox is in Exchange Online, when we enable this Meetings First mode, by default, we will trigger the Meeting Migration Service, or MMS as we call it. Triggering the Meeting Migration Service will take any existing Skype for Business meetings and convert them into Teams meetings. This is pretty cool. Now, as an admin, again, you have complete control over this, so if your users are a little, hesitant, like don't touch my meetings, don't move my cheese kind of thing, that's cool. You could still give them meetings first, but not migrate their meetings at that time, migrate them at a later time, or not migrate them at all. You have complete control over the direction that you want to take. But the default experience for us is to say, well, hey, end user, we're going to move your meetings workload into Teams. So here we go. Meetings First will enable them to schedule net new Teams meetings, and it'll convert their existing Skype meetings to Teams. Now, why is that important? Because from a meetings perspective, meeting joins will only happen in the client in which they were created, meaning Teams clients join Teams meetings. Skype for Business clients join Skype for Business meetings. Can't cross the streams, right? A Teams client can't join a Skype meeting, and a Skype client can't join a Teams meeting. That doesn't work. That's why even as you go through this, you may be working with an organization, maybe it's a federated organization, and they're still on Skype, and they're still doing Skype meetings. That's cool. Even when you're in Meetings First, you're scheduling new Teams meetings, but you can always still join Skype for Business meetings. Skype for Business client's still there. So you have no problem being able to join a Skype for Business meeting while you're in Meetings First. The trick of Meetings First is ensuring that all new meetings that the user creates are always Teams meetings. So here's a close-up of what the left rail looks like by default, right? So this is without any messing around of app setup policies like I did on my previous slide. This is simply by default, out of the box. If you assign a user the Meetings First experience, this is what their left rail will look like. This is streamlined such that they'll still have their activity feed, right? The activity feed allows them to see all their Teams and channel notifications from the collaboration side of things. Meeting chat notifications will surface in there. New meeting invites will surface inside of their activity feed, or in their activity bell as well. Of course, you have the Teams app that's there. That gets you into the collab experience, right? Where you can do Teams and channels, apps, bots, tabs, all the goodies that you get inside of the collaboration experience. You have the calendar, which was meetings and is now calendar, right? The calendar, which gives you your view of the calendar, right? We recently released this updated view of the calendar that lets you see your weekly view, right, your monthly view, and so forth. This will let you not only see your meetings, schedule your meetings, right? So you can schedule meetings right from within the Teams client. That includes scheduling a standard Teams meeting as well as a Teams live event. Both of those can be scheduled directly through the Teams interface itself. You'll also use this calendar app to gain access to that life cycle, that pre, during, post experience, right? You can go into an existing meeting ahead of time and hit chat with participants and bring up the pre-meeting chat and put an agenda item in there, put a couple of bullets in there and so forth. And then when you go to join the meeting, boom, it's right there, available for you and ready to go. After the meeting has concluded, perhaps you have some action items in there. You can mention some folks, hey, Brian, you need to go do this. And I can go back into that meeting post-chat and be able to pick up on all my action items. And of course, you've got your Files app that gives you access to the files that you store on OneDrive for Business. Remember, with the meetings experience, though, you can experience all of this through the full client. You can also experience this through the web. If you're using the Edge browser, the built-in Edge browser, the Chrome browser, or the new Edge browser that we have, all of those browsers support the ability to join meetings without any kind of add-in. Audio, video, sharing, all available inside of the browser without the need for any kind of add-in. So that's another bonus that we get by moving the Teams workload, the meetings workload into Teams rather than keeping it on Skype for Business, because we didn't have any kind of mechanism in Skype for Business to be able to do a browser-based experience outside of the Meetings app that we had to download. Now, excuse me, what we've aptly called the Better Together experience, which kind of gave me the willies because again, I've been around too long, and we had this concept of better together with our phones, right? This is not that kind of better together. What we mean here with better together is that harmonious coexistence between the Teams client and the Skype for Business client on the same system. So first and foremost is the HID controls that I mentioned earlier, right? Making sure that you can properly control your device. If I'm in a Teams meeting and I hit the mute button, it actually mutes the Teams meeting, right? Being able to do those basic tasks. The presence reconciliation. I join a meeting in Teams, update my presence in Skype to be in a conference call, because I am, right? Hold an incoming call. I'm in a Teams meeting and somebody makes a call to me on Skype for Business, right? That could be an incoming PSTN call, or it could be another Skype user just making a VoIP call to me. If I choose to answer that call, put the Teams meeting on hold, right? Have that dependency or that ability for the two applications to be aware of each other. This meetings first experience delivers that superior experience to any other third-party meeting solution that you try to leverage in combination with Skype for Business. Right? This is one of the key pieces that we have with the meetings first experience, because a lot of folks will say, well, you're just introducing meetings. I've got other products that can do that. Yeah, you do, but can they exist in the same way that they do with Skype? Can they update Skype's presence the way that we do? Can they place your meeting on hold when they answer another call? Right, so these are some definite improvements that we've made from the Skype for Business client side of things. Now, like anything else, when we talk about new features like this, you have to be ensured that you have an up-to-date version of the Skype for Business client. Right? So if you're running a Skype for Business client from like the RTM builds like a year and a half ago, you're probably not going to see this feature, right? You want to make sure that you get yourself into a proper channel, get your updates going if you're using Click to Run, so that you get this experience that we're outlining here. This one's the fun one. Presence and chat stay with voice in Skype for Business, right? A lot of folks ask me, well, why can't I just have presence in Teams? Well, because presence is more than just a little jelly bean that indicates a color of your particular client. It indicates reachability, right? Presence isn't just this gratuitous indicator. It's, hey, I am reachable, right? Now, of course, that's debatable because, like, I think red is the new green now because my presence is busy and people ping me anyway. But hey, it's designed to show us reachability. This gives us that one reachability concept because we don't have presence in two different places. We don't have presence that is separate from one another. It's a single unified view of presence, and it's owned and controlled by Skype for Business. There isn't a way to turn presence off in Skype for Business anyway. There isn't a way to turn chat off in Skype for Business. They were hardwired into the product. So if we tried to light up presence and chat in this kind of scenario inside of Teams, we'd have a bifurcated experience like we do in Islands. So we really had two options to look at from this perspective. Well, you could turn on chat and presence inside of Teams alongside of Skype for Business. If you do that, you are in what we call Islands mode, not meetings first. When you're in Islands mode, there isn't any better together experiences. So the HID controls, yeah, good luck. They're not going to work as well as you would expect. We are aware of that, and we're working to make things a little bit better in that regard, but it's never going to work the way that it does with meetings first. I can just tell you that right out of the gate. You're not going to get the benefits of meeting migration service. And when you're in Islands, your users will be front and center having the opportunity to choose what they want to do because they can create Skype and Teams meetings at the same time. So if you're going to go down that path, that's cool, but you got to rely very heavily on your user adoption to get through this so that your users don't inadvertently pick the wrong thing, right? Ooh. The second option is what we call meetings first at the bottom, single presence, single reachability, single place to receive chats and calls, a lot less confusion for the end user because now in that case, they don't have to be actively watching both clients at the same time going, oh, did they message me in Teams or did they message me in Skype? And where do I reply and what do I do? There's only one place to reach them. Whether it's an internal conversation, federated conversation, it doesn't matter. Try explaining the nuances of a federated conversation and an internal chat to an end user. Most of them aren't going to get it. So this helps to simplify that story. Now, we do realize that there are organizations, through no fault of their own, that are already on the path we call Islands. And that's because we did that, right? That's what we set the default mode to. If those users are there and they're using chat, it's probably not a good idea to take that away from them because they'll probably get pretty mad. So you might consider at that point finding how many active users you really have, grandfather them in to continue to use Teams, ideally get them to Teams only if you can, but if not, kind of keep them in the little world of Islands and then bring everybody else into the meetings first world. Because it's generally not a good idea to claw back a feature that you've given to a user already. So this is a slide that just sums up the meeting migration services components. New meetings are scheduled on Teams when you're in meetings first. The Skype add-in is gone. You won't have the Skype for Business add-in. You'll only have a Teams add-in in Outlook. And of course, you'll be able to do this through the calendar app inside of the Teams client itself. We will, by default, go ahead and migrate your meetings. And again, meeting migration happens automatically when we assign the meetings first mode. That's the SFB with Teams collab and meetings option that you see there. That's the PowerShell version of it. Or when we assign Teams only. Teams only is the end destination. That's, I've finally been migrated to Teams, right? In either of those two cases, we'll kick off MMS for you and migrate the user's Skype meetings into Teams. Again, what happens if I get invited to a Skype meeting by somebody else? It's cool, you still have the Skype client, just join it, right? This is what it looks like. On the left, you can see the calling and chat experience. That's all driven by Skype. Any chats, any calls land in the Skype for Business client. Doesn't matter if it's coming from inside your org, outside your org, PSTN, doesn't matter. All lands in Skype. The user can only initiate chats and calls in Skype. There's no chat app. There's no calls app inside of Teams. So the user has a very predictable experience. I know exactly where I need to go to do chat and calling. I go into Skype for Business. Presence is owned by Skype for Business, but it is published into both systems. So that way, if you are in the process of doing your upgrade, maybe you've got a small cohort of 50 people that you've upgraded to Teams only, when they look at somebody's presence that's in meetings first, they'll see the right presence. They'll see the actual Skype for Business presence published inside of Teams for that user. From an interop standpoint, if user is configured with meetings first, they will be able to talk to a user that is Teams only. That's no problem. The important thing to realize, and this is not a deep dive on coexistence, but the important thing to realize with these coexistence modes, and when you're trying to figure out where things are going to land, it's always the destination person's coexistence mode that determines where the chat and call is going to land. The sender's coexistence mode determines where they can go to send the message. The destination person's coexistence mode determines where it's going to land. So if I, user A, am in meetings first, the only place I can go to start a chat is Skype, because I don't have the chat app in Teams. So I have to start the message in Skype, right? If my cohort Victor here is in Teams only mode, the only place that he can go to do chats is Teams. That means when I send him a message from Skype, it's going to land in his Teams, right? If he was not in Teams only mode, but he was in Islands, only place I can go to send it is from Skype. He's going to receive it in Skype. Because by definition in Islands, it's always received in the same client in which it originated. So if I start it in Skype, it lands in Skype. Good times. On the right, you can see the Teams application. You can see also the snippet of Outlook that shows you the meeting add-in for Teams. And you can see when I go into the calendar, there's my Meet Now inside of Teams, as well as my new meeting option. When I click the new meeting option, I can either pick a regular meeting or a live event, and I can do all of that through either, well, the live event I can do through the Teams app, but I can also schedule regular Teams meetings with the Outlook add-in. Now, I want to step you through, at the end here, a view of what this presence reconciliation looks like. So let's go with me here. I'm going to set up the stage here. I've got my user, Christine. She is a user that's configured for meetings first. You can see in her client right now, she has a meeting on her calendar at the time that I recorded this. All right, it's a little demo meeting. You can see that her presence in Skype for Business states in a meeting. If you can't see that because it's like really tiny print, press the I believe button, right? I believe, it reads in a meeting, right? So if I start the animation here, you look at her presence in a meeting. Her meeting is there. It's a Teams meeting, but it shows inside of her Skype for Business client. That's cool. Look at her client, no presence. No option in Teams to set presence, because presence isn't owned by Teams, it's owned by Skype. My left rail looks as I would expect. I've got exactly what I need. There's my meeting. So now she's going to want to click Join This. That's my standard pre-join screen for Teams. Watch the presence inside of Skype for Business. Boom. She's now in the meeting, and her presence has changed to in a conference call. So Teams and Skype, better together. But wait, there's more. Remember the setting inside of Skype for Business? When I say, show me as do not disturb when I share my desktop? I've got that option set here. Well, let's check it out. I'm going to go into my Teams meeting and share out my desktop inside of this Teams meeting. When I share my desktop, boom, my presence immediately goes to DND and presenting in my Skype for Business client. So we're respecting all of those options that we had in the Skype for Business world. I stop sharing, my presence goes back to in a conference call. I leave the meeting, my presence will go back to in a meeting because my calendar is blocked with a meeting. All of that better together component is built in to what we do with meetings first. So this is a recap slide. There's nothing new here. This is the same thing that we covered before from the admin's journey perspective. I am going to take you through a demo here in just a second because I've got a quick minute or two left over, which is pretty good. So let me get signed into my lab here real quick, and then I'll flip over. So remember when we talk about, if I can remember the right password. All right, I'm getting signed into my Teams admin console here. When we talk about configuring the meetings first environment, it's literally one option that you need to configure. It's simply the coexistence mode. The coexistence mode can be configured at the organization-wide level if you want. So here in my lab, I've actually configured this at the organization level. And you can see coexistence mode, Skype for Business with Teams, collaboration, and meetings, right? One thing I want to caution you about, if you are doing guests inside of Teams, and you invite a guest into your Teams environment, the guests will take whatever the tenant level coexistence mode is as their guest experience. So if you set meetings first and you invite a guest, that guest isn't going to be able to do private chat because they can't, right? So keep that in mind, that the guest, and you can't change that, by the way. So if you didn't want that experience, you would have to set the tenant level here to say islands, and then just go assign individual users the option for the coexistence mode. And with that, that pretty much brings me back to the end. There's our takeaways. So, lots and lots of goodness in the meetings first approach. Is this for everybody? No. This scenario was really built for on-premises customers that are heavily invested with enterprise voice, that want to take advantage of the meetings workload first. That's what this is for. There is not a one-size-fits-all approach. This is part of the tools that you have in your toolkit, in your arsenal, to be able to solve the challenge of getting from Skype for Business to Teams. A few other slides I'll run through real quick. These are the other learning path sessions we have. You are here, MTG40, right? There's another one today right after this, which is large-scale town halls and webinars, good old live events. And at this time, we're out of time, but I will hang around for a little bit and be open for any other questions. Please don't forget to fill out your evals. I'll get to it eventually here. And there we go. So thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.